Hey guys, in this video I'm going to explain arrow function expressions, which are represented by, well, an arrow. It's a compact alternative to a traditional function expression. I'll give you a whole bunch of examples of where this could be useful. Let's create a traditional function expression, which we learned about in the last topic. I'll create a constant greeting, and I will set this equal to a function expression. Function, we have an argument, maybe username. Console.log will display a message. I'll use a template literal. Hello. Then my placeholder, user name. So to invoke this function, I type the function name, a set of parentheses, and I have one argument, a username. I'll type in my first name, run this, and this displays hello, whatever your username is. A compact alternative to this function expression is that we could convert it to an arrow function expression. We will eliminate these things. Eliminate the function keyword. After your arguments, add an arrow. And we can eliminate these curly braces. Looks good to me. Does this still work? Yes, it does. So depending on what arguments you have, if you have no arguments, you need just a set of parentheses. If you have one argument, you don't necessarily need to enclose this in a set of parentheses. If you have two or more arguments, you do need a set of parentheses. That is one example of the arrow function. Let's try a different example. The second example will have two arguments. It will calculate a percentage. First, let's write a function expression. Const percent equals a function expression. There are two arguments, x and y. X will be the nominator, y will be the denominator, and I would like to return x divided by y times 100. Let's use console.log. I'll use a template literal for this. I would like to display, here's my placeholder. I'll invoke this function, percent, pass in two arguments, a nominator and a denominator. What is 75 over 100? Then let's add percent to the end. So 75 over 100 is 75%. What about 80 over 150? 53.3 repeating percent. In place of a function expression, let's use the arrow function. So we eliminate the function keyword, keep the arguments, add an arrow, and we can eliminate these curly braces, and we don't necessarily need this return statement. And this still works the same. What about 45 over 50? That is 90%. Here's one last exercise. We'll reuse the code on the video on sorting an array of integers. In that example, we had an array of student grades. And these are integers. One student has 100%, another has 50%, 90, 60, 80, 70. If I was using standard functions, I would write something like this. Function descending. There are two arguments, x and y. Return y minus x. And I will also create a print function. Function print. We have one argument, an element. Console.log element. To sort and display each of these elements, I will use two separate functions. Grades.sort, pass in a callback, descending, and I would also like to print. Grades for each, pass in a callback to print. So all of these grades are in descending order. If we were writing the same code using function expressions, I could stick a function expression within each of these methods. Let's turn this first function into a function expression, cut it, and paste it within the sort method. And we will do the same thing with print. Get rid of the name, cut this, and paste it. And that does the same thing, but it uses function expressions. In place of function expressions, let's now use the arrow function. We get rid of the function keyword, add an arrow after the arguments, and we can eliminate these curly braces. And we don't need the return keyword either. Let's do the same thing with the for each method to display each element. Get rid of the function keyword. Add an arrow after the arguments. We can eliminate the curly braces. And that semicolon. All right, let's see if this works. I can't believe it. It actually worked. In place of function expressions, we were able to instead use arrow function expressions. It's a compact alternative to a traditional function expression. It makes your code a lot more readable. So yeah, those were a few examples of us using the arrow function. You have your arguments on one side, arrow, then some code you would like to perform. So yeah, that's the arrow function, everybody. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to smash that like button, leave a random comment down below, and subscribe if you'd like to become a fellow bro.